Alright, welcome to lesson 4, complex fractions. I don't want you to go ahead and get scared right now because these things look crazy, okay? But it'll be okay. Just kind of stick with me. We're going to work on taking these and simplifying them down. Now I want you to notice this portion right here. This is the same as using my division sign. So I'm going to write this one so that you can see that I've got 2 divided by x over 9. Now in lesson 2 you knew how, or you learned how to handle that. You were keep this the same, you're going to change this to multiply, and you're going to reciprocate this. We're going to do the same thing. So don't let this piece scare you. So this is going to be 2 times 9 over x. And then we're just going to remember that this is over 1. We've got one big numerator that we're going to multiply and get 18. We've got one big denominator where we get x. And so 2 divided by x over 9 is the same as 18 over x. And again, you may or may not need to state restrictive values. This x is in the denominator. There wasn't really any other variables. So x is not allowed to be 0. Is a restriction. You may or may not have to state that. I think a lot of this is just working with the fractions. So when you end up with ones that are already together, you have one single numerator, you have one single fraction in the denominator. It's pretty straightforward and easy to do those. These in number 2 are a little bit more, they look difficult, but this is going to incorporate pretty much everything that we've done up until this point. We have pieces that are going to be added, pieces that are going to be added, and then we have the division bar to worry about, and then of course you're going to have to change division to multiplication and simplify. So this uses everything up until this point. So remember to keep an open mind. We want to change this to one single fraction. So I want to get all the pieces together so that I can combine it into one fraction. So that means I need a common denominator. So for the top, my common denominator, this is 1 over 1, my common denominator is going to be b. I don't have to make any changes for this fraction, so I'm not going to have to change the numerator. But for this one, I'm going to need to multiply by b over b. So that means that I'm going to have a plus b over b. That's my numerator. I'm going to, this is this division bar right here, I'm just translating it over, and then we're going to have the same idea down here. This is really 3 over 1. I want to get a common denominator for this one, so my common denominator is b. I don't have to multiply this fraction by anything, so I just have x. But for this one, I have to get my denominators to match. I'm going to multiply by b, so I end up multiplying by b over b. So this transfers into a 3b plus 3b. Alright, so now I have a single fraction here, a single fraction here. They're being divided, so that means I'm going to keep this one the same, change this to multiply, and reciprocate this fraction. So what I usually do is I just come up here, so I don't have to rewrite this again, do a little times, and then the reciprocal. Now you may see somebody come through like this, and this is what they're doing. They say, well, if I multiply this nasty fraction over this nasty fraction, that's really multiplying by 1, so I'm not changing anything. And then if I look here, I have, in this multiplication, I have these going to cancel, these are going to cancel, so that's going to make this a 1. So really when you are doing your keep, change, and multiply by the reciprocal, you are really doing this idea where these guys cancel, and then I focus here. So I end up with b, and I'm going to use parentheses, a plus b over b, x plus 3b. My b's are going to cancel, and so my final answer is a plus b over x plus 3b. Again, if we needed to state our restrictions, we can, but we got a lot of stuff going on, so let's just focus on, yay, we got to the answer. Remember, can't cancel the b's, That would be the only thing I could think that you would try to cancel. But because these are being added and these are being added, you can't cancel over addition.